In this part of the question, we are supposed to sketch two graphs. The first one is the graph of y is equal to 3 over 2 cosine of 6x plus 1. If I were to focus on just this portion, that means if I were to look at just y is equal to 3 over 2 cosine of 6x. To understand this, the amplitude is 3 over 2 and the period of this is going to be the original period, which is 360 degree divided by the coefficient of x, which is 6. This is going to be 60 degree. So if I were to sketch just the graph of this, it's going to look something like this, ending at 60, which means that here is going to be 30, here is going to be equal to 15, and here is going to be equal to 45. The minimum possible is at minus 3 over 2, the highest possible is at 3 over 2. And if I were to draw now the graph of y is equal to 3 over 2 cosine of 6x plus 1. Plus 1 is going to cause the entire graph to shift up by 1 unit. That means it is going to remain exactly the same, but it is going to be shifted up by 1 unit. That means the middle portion is going to be, originally is at the x-axis, now it's going to be shifted up by 1 unit. This is going to be shifted up by 1 unit, it is going to be at minus 1 over 2. Shifting this up by 1 unit, it is going to be at 5 over 2. The graph is going to look something like this. And still the same, this is going to be at 60. This point here is going to be at 30. And this is going to be at 15, this is going to be at 45. So this is the graph that I have here, and if I were to extend it all the way until 120 degrees, that means it's going to be 1 period and 2 periods. As for the other graph that I'm supposed to sketch, it is going to be the graph of y is equal to 2 minus 1 over 2 of sine 3x. And if I were to focus on just this portion, that means I'm drawing the graph of y is equal to 1 over 2 sine of 3x. The amplitude is half, and the period is going to be the original period, 360 degree, divided by the coefficient of x, 3. The period is going to be 120. And if I were to sketch just this graph, the graph is going to look something like this. Ending at 120, here it is going to be at 60. The maximum possible point here is going to be at 30. And the minimum possible point here is going to be at 90. And for the y coordinate of the minimum possible point, because the amplitude is half, so here is going to be minus 1 over 2. Up the highest possible point, the y coordinate is going to be at half. And if I were to now sketch the graph of y is equal to minus 1 over 2 sine of 3x, that means I need to reflect this graph about the x-axis. Reflecting it about the x-axis will make a curve that looks something like this. It's just a reflection about the x-axis. It is, so here is still going to be at 120, and this is starting from 0, this is 60, this point here is going to be at 30, and this point here is going to be at 90. The lowest possible point is minus 1 over 2, the highest possible point here is 1 over 2. And finally, if this graph is going to go through one final transformation, which will transform it to the graph of y is equal to 2 minus 1 over 2 sine 3x. That means this entire graph is going to be shifted up by 2 units. And that's how we get this graph, because the original middle point is at 0, is going to be shifted up by 2 units, so it is going to be at 2 here. And the lowest possible point will go from minus half plus 2, which is going to be 3 over 2, and the highest possible point is half plus 2, which is going to be at 5 over 2. So sketching that graph is going to be this, ending at 120.